what's going on? Zash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. I can't believe in 3 years uploading Raid Shadow Legends content, I've never made a video about my favorite champions in the game, the best damage dealers in the game, enemy max HP champions. Now listen guys, what if I told you there are 9 enemy max HP champions in the game? How many would you be able to name out of the 9? There's 2 legendary, 4 epic, 2 rare, 1 uncommon. Does that make sense? Something around those lines. So I probably would have gotten 7 or 8. You know, once you see the names, it's a little bit easier, right? But I probably would have forgotten about at least 1 of these epics. When I was making the list, I'm like, oh yeah, didn't realize that epic had an enemy max HP ability in their kit. Anyway, guys, let me know how many you can name. Be honest. There's no reason to lie. In the comments, how many could you name and how many do you have / use? So as I said, there's only 2 legendaries, so let's start with those champions. And as with all these champions, right, there's a few factors that dictate how much damage these champions are going to do, right? Enemy max HP, obviously, but that is dictated oftentimes not based on the base attack or defense or HP on your champions, depending on what type of damage dealers. Let's just start with Coldheart, right? Let's just start with the champion that everybody knows, one of the most famous enemy max HP champions inside the game, and a rare, the best rare in the game, in my opinion. It is Coldheart and her Heartseeker ability, okay? So a lot of people build Coldheart really prioritizing her attack, right? To get more damage out of her. I mean, attack does have a small part to play in the overall damage, even in Heartseeker, right? So, as we say, multiple factors. Enemy max HP, what their max HP is, right? And then the attack of her is a secondary factor as well to add a little bit extra damage. But really, that's a small percentage of the overall damage. Most of it is coming from enemy max HP. I say all that to say this about all these champions. We really want to prioritize their critical damage and their health, right? Make sure they can stay alive. So putting a Coldheart in an HP percentage chest, putting HP or defense on the accessories, it's really not going to matter all that much in terms of the overall damage output. We're talking like a 1,000,000 damage Heartseeker versus a 900,000 damage Heartseeker. It's still a ton of damage. You're still going to be a-okay, especially if she's alive, because you can't do any damage if she's dead.
If she's dead.
It's a hard-hitting analysis you get here on Ash Raid Shadow Legends YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen. So Heartseeker ability, I want to show you the multipliers on all of these, because it's one thing just to point out all these champions. We're actually going to tell you how much damage they do, because it's different. You know, the amount of enemy max HP that they're dealing is going to be different on almost all these champions, okay? So let's start with Coldheart. Heartseeker ability is extremely good because we're also reducing the turn meter by 100%. This damage multiplier, we'll have them all on the screen, right? Damage multiplier is 1.7 attack plus 0.1% of enemy max HP. 0.1% of enemy max HP is a ton. That is on the upper echelon inside the game. So needless to say, that is a lot of damage. It's one of the best enemy max HP abilities inside the entire game. So Coldheart number 1, appropriate place to start this video. Now let's talk about one of the newer additions to the game, and boy, oh boy, do I want this champion. Man, Calvulax is so nasty. He's placing poisons all over the place. Places 4 poisons at the start of each round on all enemies. Are you kidding me? Aesthetically, this dude, I mean...
Don't by any chance happen to have 6 fingers on your right hand? Do you always begin conversations this way?
You look badass, dude. You look bad. Whoever designed this guy, it was an art contest, right? They nailed it, man. I really like the aesthetics of this champion. He's really cool looking. I think it's something about the Smoke Monster vibes that really, it brings me back to Lost circa 2004, or whenever that TV show was out. Calvulax is a little confusing because there's actually 3 factors in his overall damage. Attacks all enemy, damage increases according to the number of poison debuffs on the target, and not only that, but enemy max HP is also a factor. So this champion, here's how it works. It's a 3.5 attack multiplier on this ability, which is actually pretty high. And his base attack is very high as well, 1663. That puts him, he must be in the top 10 overall in terms of base attacks in the game. Now, it's a 3.5 attack multiplier plus the number of poisons times 0.01 enemy max HP. Now, Coldheart was 0.1. So again, this is, Coldheart's ability, Heartseeker, deals 10 times more damage on the enemy max HP, but remember, that's times the amount of poisons on the target, so there's a lot of factors here, but needless to say, do the math, right? That's a lot of damage. It's going to be a lot of damage. Even the multiplier is heavy. So Storm of Vitriol is a really, really good ability and a really insane champion in terms of just sheer damage. Let's get the other legendary again. There's only 2 out of the way with, and this is an old school. Cavalax, kind of a newish champion in the game. Let's talk about one of the OGs inside the game. You know what I'm talking about, guys? It's the Bannerlord Septimus. So Septimus, man, he has the hardest hitting enemy max HP ability in the game. I guess depending if the opponent has 10 poisons on them, then that wouldn't be the case. Cavalax would take the cake there. But still, Holy Sword ability is insane. It is a 0.1 enemy max HP, same as Coldheart, but his damage multiplier is going to be a lot higher than Coldheart's. It's a 2.5 attack. And his base attack is high as well, 1674. That's insane. It's easy to build him with a lot of attack to help out, but again, the majority of that damage, I'll repeat it again, is actually coming from the enemy max HP. And again, it's 0.1, which is the high threshold mark in Raid Shadow Legends. So Holy Sword, you can see some insane. How many times this guy gonna say insane? You can see a lot of damage from this ability. So this is routinely hitting the Spider, for example, for me, on my Septimus. He's hitting for like 1.2, 1.3 million damage off of this Holy Sword ability, and I don't even have as god tier gear as others have on him. He can one-shot Spider. That's how insane. I've seen it hit for over 2 million damage with this ability. It's insane. No! Incredible. He also is ignoring shield and block damage buffs with this Holy Sword ability. So there you have it, guys. Those are the only 2 legendaries. Now let's go to one of the rares, guys. Let's go to one of the rares. Now, you guys, some savvy or old school viewers who know all the kind of deep dive into all the rares in the game, will know about Steel Bowyer. She's a unique champion. She looks pretty cool too. I like kind of the dark aesthetic she has going on, kind of a Coldheart build aesthetically going on, but she's all like just plated in black steel or whatever she's got going on, right? Pretty cool looking champion. She's got the tattoo, the face tattoos going on. Pretty cool, man. I like Steel Bowyer. I like Steel. What does she look like from behind? Not. Is that okay to ask? I don't know. Big game. Big game scales on enemy max HP and attack. This is a 0.02 enemy max HP plus 3 attack multiplier on this ability. It is an AoE attack, but again here, just for comparison, we'll compare her to Royal Guard next. But that 0.02 it's not that crazy, right? So don't expect, Husk or Royal Guard or even Septimus or Coldheart damage. Again, though, it is an AoE, so let's compare her to AoE Nukers. But on a 5-turn cooldown out of a rare champion with a 3 base multiplier, it's still a decent amount of damage you can get off this big game ability. Make no mistake about it. So Steel Bowyer, she's going to be our only rare other than Coldheart, or only AoE rare. You know what, guys? Let's go to the uncommon. You all know who he is, and if you don't, check him out. Pull a few mystery shards, and you'll have your hands eventually on Armiger. I don't know, man. When I look at Armiger, I think of Cold Brew. You know that content creator? He's a great content creator, great YouTuber. But he has like so many videos out. And you know what? I don't even care. That's not a knock on him, so many Armiger videos, because they're all so cool, man. He runs like 4 or 5 Armigers just doing incredible stuff. I can't get enough of Armiger, man. He's such a cool champion. I need to make another freaking Armiger video. This guy's a boss. He's uncommon. He's defense based, so he's easy to keep alive for an uncommon champion. On his A1, he has turn meter control. On his A2, it's a 2.9 defense multiplier plus a plus a 0.5, excuse me. I can get my math right there, Ash. Enemy max HP, meaning that this does half the damage that Coldheart's, or half the enemy max HP damage as compared to Coldheart. Again, this is good to know. The good news is it's on a freaking 2-turn cooldown, guys. It's on a 2-turn cooldown when you book this dude up, and you can book him just with dupes. You can just keep pulling a bunch of Armigers from mystery shards. If you're anything like me, you're probably sitting on, a couple dozen, couple hundred, couple thousand mystery shards. If not, we'll save them up. They're easy enough to come by, right? So that is Armiger. Armiger's a really, he's the best uncommon in the game. And in my mind, it's not really even that close, although I do like a few other uncommons out there. But that's another video for another day. Let's talk about Royal Guard, guys. I lied. I said I would do him next. Let's do him now. Royal Guard. I think he's my personal favorite enemy max HP champion. He's the first dude that I pulled. I don't use him as much as I used to anymore, but he's just really good because his whole kit is really good too. He has a big version of decreased defense. He has a great attack in dungeons by 35%, one of the best in the game for dungeons on the aura. And then he has this great A3 ability. But when we get back to this, it's nice and simple here, right? We have a 0.01, or excuse me, 0.1, not 0.01, 0.1. So the same enemy max HP multiplier that we see on Coltart, for example, we're seeing this now on an AoE attacking all enemies on a 4-turn cooldown. So yeah, man. Yeah, very, very good ability here, right? And it's actually a 2 attack. So it's a 2 attack multiplier plus a 0.1 enemy max HP. So again, a very strong, one of the strongest AoE, actually the strongest AoE with maybe, you know, some provisions here we'll talk about in a moment, in the game. So Royal Guard's just incredible. I think he is definitely an A tier, if not an S tier, epic champion inside the game. I can't say enough good things about Royal Guard. If you have him, you know what I'm talking about, right? Let's talk about my favorite. What about me? I think he's my personal favorite enemy max HP champion. He's the first dude that I pulled. Didn't I just say that Royal Guard was my favorite? Oops. My most used enemy max HP champion, probably a lot of you guys, if you're lucky enough to have Seer, a Void Epic champion with Karma Burn. Now, this is a little bit of a wordy one here, because the damage is dependent on if they're a normal mob or if they're a boss, right? If they are a boss, it's a little bit different. If they're, let's just go with the normal mobs, but I'll put them all on the screen for you guys. So a normal mob, this is why she's the boss of wave killers. It's going to be a 0.1 enemy max HP. Again, the highest that we see in the game, same as Royal Guard, but it's going to be plus a 0.03 of enemy max HP, again, times the number of total buffs removed. What? All right, let me just show this on the screen here. I'm just going to show it from a Yumi Love website, right? So here you guys can see, against bosses, against mobs, we have a lot of damage. Right? This is why she hits for like 1 million plus damage every single wave that she is attacking, you know? I will, at the end of this video, just show you a quick Seer just absolutely tearing through everybody. So this is just insane. This is the hardest hitting AoE ability in the game, provided you have enough buffs to activate those multipliers. It's insane. It's insane, right? So that's Seer. All right, next is going to be a champion who's seeing a lot of action lately inside the game, and it's none other than Husk. So Husk, great especially for Hydra Clan boss. He's nice because he's an HP-based champion, so he's a little bit easy to keep alive. He's also nice because although he does not do as much damage as Royal Guard, his damage is only based on enemy max HP. So building up a bunch of HP on this champion is nice because he's an HP-based champion. He'll get more damage out of his A3. Awkwardly, his A1 is based on attack, which makes no sense at all. But you'll get more damage out of the A3, and he'll stay alive longer, right? So sure, load him up with HP. But really, it's all about, you know, critical damage and accuracy if you want to land the stun. That's what makes him so cool. It's a 0.1 enemy max HP multiplier on this ability, but again, unlike, you know, Royal Guard, he doesn't have that attack that's also playing a factor in that overall damage output. So we're prioritizing, again, a lot of crit damage on this champion. It's still a lot of damage, and he has the stun. Really insanely good ability, considering it's this much damage, plus it's on a 4-turn cooldown. Plus, again, we're looking at a 60% stun on this same ability. So Husk, being Force Affinity too is nice to have. There's not a lot of good Force Affinity nukers out there in the game, especially in the epic category. So Husk, definitely a champion who is rising up in terms of his overall value index, if you will, in the game. The last is the champion that I would have forgotten, to be honest with you guys, and it's also Undead Horde. You guys know who it is? Defiled Sinner. That's right. A few of you guys knew.
Just when you thought that dude couldn't get any weirder.
Defiled Sinner, another Force Affinity champion. However, unfortunately, he is not nearly as good as Husk, at least in my opinion. If you disagree with me, if you're a big Defiled Sinner fan, let me have it in the comments below, please. I know you will anyway. All right, so a 3-turn cooldown, ripe for slaughter. The cool thing about this ability is it has a massive multiplier, right? Attacks one enemy, a 6.3 multiplier on a single target. That is very, very high. One of the highest in the game. The attack doesn't scale as well in 1222 base, but still not too bad. 6.3 attack on one enemy. Then attacks all enemies, inflicting damage equal to 15% of their max HP if the first hit kills an enemy. Second hit cannot be critical. So there's a lot of bad news after you read the initial. The good news is this hit is very, very hard on the first hit. So, you know, for waves, if you don't have Seer, you can experiment with Defiled Sinner. Maybe I'll make a guide on Defiled Sinner and we can try it out ourselves, guys. What do you think about that? That would be fun. And there it is, guys. Those are all the champions. That's it. We have Calvalax, Septimus, Husk, Royal Guard, Seer, Defiled Sinner, Cold Heart, Steel Bowyer, and Armiger. Let me show you a quick Seer run to end off the video, guys. As always, I hope you're all doing well out there. If not, sending you some love, positivity, giving you a quick message of encouragement here. Let's go ahead and do a quick Fire Knight run. Let's just get to the Fire Knight. Hopefully she doesn't, you know, this is kind of a newish team for me. Let's see how things go. I have, and I say it's, okay, look at that. Boom! Ooh! This is a level 25 dungeon, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's slow it down this time. Ooh! So, like, what was that? 500 to 700, 800,000 damage. That is the power of Karma Burn and Seer. That's what makes her just such an incredible and useful champion in this game. And a great time saver as well. Who's your favorite enemy max HP question? I want to leave you guys who actually watched all the way till the end. I want to leave you with an open-ended question here. Do you think that Raid should add more enemy max HP champions to the game? Or do you think that we have enough and it ought to be like a really unique and special skill that only a few champions have? Let me know in the comments below, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, take care, guys.